Hey guys, today is the day. It's finally here. Secret Invasion's wrapped up, and your boy Winter Wolf and Kingsley are breaking it down right now. Holy guacamole, I gotta lower the brightness on this one. Woo!
Oh,
Look at that
yeah.
reflection.
Oh,
There
yeah.
it goes.
I didn't know
Let me
you could
fix
get
that
any
real quick.
wider.
Woo! Oh, holy hell. Yeah, that was up
Ah,
to about 70 or 80 on the display, but that's neither here nor there, guys. Welcome back to Winter Wolf's Den. Winter Wolf here, King Z co-piloting as usual, and thank God for that, because it's been a rough week for your boy Winter Wolf. Was not feeling too good the first 2.5 days of the week, but we're back because we weren't going to miss the finale of Secret Invasion, not by a long shot, because I think we have a good deal to talk about here on the wrap up of the show. I'll just start it off by saying, King Z, what's going on?
hey, how y'all doing? Welcome back to our finale show. That's right. Is it a finale or is it a flop? We're about to discuss it and explain it to you. So let's get this video package ran.
You know, let's before because we always actually we're both bad about this. So before we even get through this, dude, give me the spoiler siren. Give me the red thing.
I didn't even get the right one set up today. Oh,
No
man.
worries. Dude.
There we
No,
go.
no, that's all right. We're good. We're good. That's the one. And we, we're gonna just be in the better habit about. I'll remember to have you throw it up there early before I start gabbing, because I like to get right into these things after we put the pleasantries of our intros aside and whatnot. And I don't want to ruin anything for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. We know it just came out like last night late for most people, so maybe you didn't see it. Guys, I'm sure King Z agrees. If you haven't seen the ending to Secret Invasion, you dip out, go check it out. It's sadly only it's 38 minutes runtime. King Z, give me the adjusted view, please, because I know you have it.
It's 29:42.
Dude, that hurts, dude. That kind of hurts. I'm not gonna lie, but I think sadly, not only did this, I actually first I'll take a victory lap. You didn't get your 90-minute final episode. That shit wasn't happening. You thought I was gonna forget. No, dude, the wolf doesn't forget. That was not gonna happen, dude. There was no extra high heat fastball that they were pulling out to give you a 90-minute Stranger Things style finale with this one. And I'll say on top of that, for me, just initial impulse. What else were they gonna do? Like, it wrapped up the story that they were telling. I mean, it wasn't ineffective as an ending. I guess my main complaint is they just didn't care. Like, I really we watched the show, great. I don't see myself ever rewatching this ever as a series. I'll never go back and find a single episode out of the 6 like with The Last of Us. There are a couple of episodes like the high zombie carnage episodes that we have with some of the standoffs between the humans, like the one in Kansas City. I've gone back and watched that one a couple times. I've watched a couple like the last one with Joel in the hospital when I finally got my Joel Terminator episode, like the end of the game. I went back and I watched that a couple of times. But dude, your takeaway from this episode first, before you tell me any complaints, would you watch any of this again? Like, if the wife was behind, would you go back and watch it?
Actually, I did. I watched most episodes twice just because the wife missed it when I was watching it, because I was watching it during my lunch break, and a lot of times she wasn't home when I was watching it. So,
But I mean, I mean, 6 months from now, like around the holidays, if you're bored, you're out, in between jobs or something like that, would you kick it with this show for another full watch through of 6 episodes?
not unless there was something that was going on in the MCU and I had to go back and just research something. I could
Good
use
point.
it. I could see it as a research tool, but I won't
Yep.
go back and watch it for just pure enjoyment.
True. And I think that's sad. And actually, I'm just going to slide this in here because I don't have time to change our topic list for tomorrow unless we just randomly slide it in. But did you happen to see? Because I know you were following some of the news this week while I was down. Did you happen to see that the Marvels is no longer slated for its spot at the end of the year? It's been bumped.
They said that they made a mistake in
Oh,
announcing the
please.
second season.
No, not Ms. Marvel. They've bumped the Marvels.
Oh,
the movie.
the movie. Oh,
Yes, the team up.
I saw the one with this about the season about Miss Marvel
Yeah.
season 2, that they said a mistake and they never ever greenlit a second
Right,
season.
right.
It was
Dude,
just a
also true.
memo, and someone announced it by mistake.
Yeah, that's Ms. Marvel, the show, and that's I didn't even hear that, so that's another nail in the coffin of this part of their franchise. No, the theatrical release of the Marvels, the one that has Photon, Ms. Marvel, and Captain Marvel doing the team up thing that was due out this November, has apparently been bumped into 2024, I think. So, dude, and the reason I bring that up is because you saw the thumbnail to this week's show, right? This show, for whatever reason, is willing to die on the Carol Danvers hill. And I just don't understand why.
Well,
Like,
Carol Danvers, as a character, not in the MCU, but as a character in Marvel, is a huge plot point in a lot of different things, to include Civil War too.
Yep.
So,
but they don't have any of that in the MCU
no.
or the MCU on Disney Plus. So it just seemed like a really strange creative point. And we're going to do our jump around thing here because this episode is really straightforward. But when they finally do exactly what we thought, and they all get geared up in the Skrull mutagenic machine enhancing ability thing at the end. Of course, at appearances, it's what we predicted. Fury gets blasted at the same time. The Gravik does. So they both get amped up for the final fight. There's a minor twist there, and I'll admit it, I actually didn't see that coming. I thought they were playing it a different way, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I was digging that fight. It was nice to see Drax's arm. The moment where he hulked up and just bitch slapped him through the building, through the smokestack with the music rising behind it, that was pretty fucking solid. Yeah. I was digging that, dude.
The fight was good, and we can see where they blew the whole budget of this show. On this fight scene.
All of it, dude. Dude, they had aerial combat, they had abilities, they had morphing, they had all kinds of stupid shit going on here.
Yeah.
But it was nice looking for the Easter eggs, and seeing, and really all they could do was show you the visuals. So we knew we weren't going to get a Thor appearance. You know what I mean? We weren't going to get Chris Evans as Captain America. But we got the different arms. Budget. We got of course, we got Abomination's ear fin coming up on Gravik and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the Captain Marvel point I'm making here is I don't care that like they had to use her powers to defeat the villain. Like, that makes sense. Like, I'm not bothered that she exists. I'm bothered that the movie is so bad and they literally just can't let it go. Like, this movie, when it airs, it's gonna bomb, dude. It's gonna bomb atomically. That's our new T-shirt here on Winter Wolf's Den. It's gonna bomb atomically. It just is.
And I can understand that, but we know that the movie's gonna be bad. We don't like the actress because, one, she's not that good. I see her as
I don't like her in Captain Marvel. I don't like her in Captain Marvel. I love her on The League. I want to be very clear about that. And I love her in Scott Pilgrim.
She was in The League.
She was Ruxin's nanny for a few episodes. The one that Pete started banging on the side. She ends up with Rafi. It was she's funny when she wants to be. She does the dry, sarcastic thing. And she can actually be likable. That's what pisses me off the most about Captain Marvel. She was pretty good in Skull Island, Kong. She was okay in that. I mean, she's not going to win the war, but it's like she didn't ruin the film.
So maybe it's just writing, which they haven't had a good writer in a while.
Hello, McFly. Anybody home? Exactly, dude. But give me some. I've been gabbing like I do, and I apologize. Give me some initial thoughts of this week.
Oh, whoa, something happened. Hold on.
Standing by. We're on our technical difficulty screen.
Why are you not working right now? Yes, my camera froze. That's pretty much it.
I see that.
I think
maybe it'll just catch up. It's a horrible still shot to focus on. I think you're back. You're back.
Yep.
Am I gone now, though?
No, you're still good.
Guys, this happens every week. This is hilarious. It's just what we do here.
It wouldn't be us if there wasn't technical difficulties.
It wouldn't be the Den if it wasn't under constant attack from people that don't want us bringing the truth. Our channel's not remotely big enough to say grandiose shit like that, but whatever. It's fun. It's fun to pretend. But anyway, dude, I was saying before we broke our stream for the 6th straight week, dude, you know what it is? It's this show. It's only happened on this show.
Yeah.
Our Last of Us show was fine. Right.
Every time we attack Marvel, their hackers are out there and they're like, no, we can't have this going on.
They know. I'm gonna have to do one of those channel. The next thumbnail for next week is gonna say our channel's under attack. Please help. At Team YouTube on Twitter. But anyways, I was just give me some initial thoughts for this week. Just not even that it's a finale. Just bang the bullets beginning to end.
I believe that the fight scene was good. And it proved one of my biggest points. The most powerful being in the universe is Mantis.
Yep. I thought that was really slick, by the way.
Yeah. Yep. Number 2, I showed Fury, who still had the quick draw, which was nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it also proved, like, we had the Rhodey reveal, which was huge. Like, we knew he was a Skrull, but we didn't know when Rhodey was taken. And this revealed when Rhodey was taken, which reveals that through the whole event of the Infinity War and Endgame, that was a Skrull. That wasn't Rhodey.
Whoa. How'd you pick that up? Where'd you get that from?
He couldn't walk. His back is still broken from when he fell in Civil War.
Oh, dude, I was saying I didn't pick up on that. I thought they were just helping him, like, because he had been in states. Oh, dude, he's the only one that they had to help out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, dude, nice little catch. I just thought they were, shoulder slinging him.
Yeah,
to help
he
him
was
walk
still
out.
in.
You're right.
He was still in the
Yep.
hospital gowns.
You're exact, dude. Wow, dude. Great catch, dude. Great catch. I wonder how many people are going to be talking about that because I think that it's not as I don't think it was as obvious as that. I think that's a great pickup on your part because I thought they were just like helping him get out there. But you're right. Literally everybody else came walking out into the sunlight, like blocking their eyes,
and they
shit.
had to help him, and he was in his hospital gown.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah. So the roadie that you see them rehabilitating after Civil War was a Skrull the whole time.
That's crazy. Good pickup. Great pickup. What did you think predictability wise here? Was there any variation to this ending that you think would have given it any extra punch, or were they really just kind of limited by their runtime and circumstance of budget? I don't know.
Honestly, I think if they had a bigger runtime, it would have just been like more filler. I don't think it would have actually.
You hate filler too.
And it wouldn't give anything to the story except for more backstory, which I think they hit the head, beat the backstory pretty dead, especially in this last episode. I thought Gravik was amazing in his whole thing, how
good
he put
speech.
put it on him. And then Marvel does what they do when you have a good bad guy, they kill him.
Yep. They do that other thing too, where they make you over sympathize with them and blame the hero, which I hate. I just like to take some fucking accountability for yourself, bro. I don't know. So.
Well, I mean, with that I don't have that much impact because there was a meme a few years ago, and it kind of hit home. It's like when you're a kid, you root for Batman, but when you're an adult, you see that the Joker has some points.
Call it the kid in me then, still, because I'm still pretty Batman on the subject. Oh, now I have random windows opening. Hold on, let me close that out there. That was fun. My hands were completely not on the desk, and all kinds of things just open. That's fun. But Marvel, we're not taking your shit, MCU. We're talking about your show. We're actually, I believe you told us we were trending on some of the analytics for covering this show. So maybe you guys just give us a fucking pass to talk about this stuff. Just saying.
We're ranking on a few of our tags. If you understand YouTube, you put your tags in there, so when people put them into the search, it brings up your video, and based on how well your video is doing, it will be ranked in there. And we were in the top 5 on a couple of those categories. So
that's pretty slapping, dude. For a channel of under 150 subs, that's not bad. And speaking of under 150 subs, guys, we'd appreciate it if you drop by and just have a chit chat. If you want to talk Secret Invasion, if you'd actually like another adventure out with Nick Fury, they leave it kind of open. I mean, they kind of do. Maybe smash the like button if you like. Comment, like I said. Subscribing is always nice. Not mandatory, but we like what we do here. We'd like to grow a little bit, each and every week. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But dude, the Gravik speech I thought was good. The actor the actor slaps. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah,
when he grabbed Fury by the face and like twisted him, he was just like yelling. Like I think there's some raw emotion. He's good. I hope we see more of him in something, even if it's not as Gravik, in something else. I think he'll be out there. I think.
So I was right with one of my predictions. It was Gravik versus Emily Clark at the end.
Yes. Explain to people that haven't seen it yet. It was a nice little twist. Yeah. And I didn't see it coming because let me tell you what I thought first. I thought they were setting Rhodey up by telling Rhodey that Fury was coming there and he was going to move all his defenses to intercept Fury while Fury was actually in Russia doing the thing. And it was going to be British chick and Emilia Clarke rescuing Ritson, the president. So when it all goes down in Russia, it starts making more sense how the twist comes. Because first thought right away, Fury's walking into this fucking radioactive, undecontaminated place with a bottle of iodide pills and no suit. Like last week he had a cloak that could like morph his face. He has no nano Stark tech that can render him safe from radiation. Really? He's just walking in there coughing and taking pills, and he dropped them and made a show of panicking and coughing and this and that. So I should have gathered they had that up a sleeve. Like they were going to let Emilia Clarke go and not play a part in the finale. Yeah. Of course not. The Wolf should have seen that coming. So, dude, you're 100% right on the prediction. She beat him as her, like she morphs out of the Fury shapeshift,
Yep.
and then goes into the battle.
Yeah, and like she was in the Super Scroll machine after they
Yep.
uploaded the Harvest. It was the real Harvest.
Yep.
Which was surprising. A lot of people thought that was going to be a fake, that it wasn't the real, and like it was going to like set him up to be like weaker than he should have been. But
Like
no,
some reverse Superman 2 shit.
yeah.
Yep.
But no, it ended up being the real Harvest, and then you had Fury in there. And at first, I'm thinking, does Fury have Scroll blood in him?
Yep.
And no, it was Emily Clark.
Yeah, I was digging that. And actually, we can put another Captain Marvel pin here because, of course, in the dialogue, they want to talk about, oh, it has all the Avengers and Carol Danvers. Like, relax. The rest of the Avengers combined house Carol Danvers fucking hands down.
But her
Like,
power,
stop it.
but her power in the MCU,
she can fly and has laser beams.
She has more power than an Omega level mutant. If you look at the power charts that they've come out with,
Yeah, I know, but that's shit that they print on paper. She flies and has laser beams. Thor flies and has laser beams. At the end of the day, it's whatever powers the writer want to give him. So I'm saying if them two cancel each other out, the Hulk's gonna bitch slap this chick out of the next movie, Thanos style. Let's not even have that debate because I just don't like her in the role. But with her powers on play here, I did like it. I thought it was exceptionally graphic how they did him at the end. I thought that was a pretty good fatality, if you will. Wasn't expecting that. I was like, okay, but you're right. We see where the budget went because that 360-degree flying inverted rendering effect that they used there with all the Captain Marvel photonic effects, if you will, and that probably sent him back about $8 gajillion of the budget that they had. So I thought that was kind of wild there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that.
They released the numbers and it was like came just under 150 million.
Oh my god, for 6 episodes.
Yeah.
For 6 episodes. Dude, that's got to put it up there as like one of the most expensive things they've ever made. That's
the average for their shows runs about 1 to 120, so it is one of their more expensive shows.
Wow. I didn't really see. I knew some of their Star Wars stuff gets up there, given the nature of those. Like even when Andor's on the ground, a lot of space stuff. The Mandalorian obviously must have a massive budget.
Well, you have to think of
Kenobi had a massive space budget. You know what I mean?
Emily Clark and Samuel Jackson don't come cheap.
Oh, ching! No, of course.
Yeah.
No, they're both still. I would consider them both A-list or still. They're both known commodities, and they have good agents for for their representation at the bargaining table and everything like that. There's no way they're coming in under any sweetheart deal just to be in the MCU at this point.
I saw videos of them talking about it, and Samuel Jackson was the 3rd highest paid actor over the last 3 years.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so
I'm guessing RDJ and Elizabeth Olsen.
The Rock is number 1.
Oh, I thought you meant Marvel. I was just thinking of the Marvel cast. Okay.
No, I'm talking about in general.
Yeah. Okay. No, the Rock getting paid. That surprises me that Jackson's up there then. But again, that's just that's a byproduct of seniority and having the ability to have the ask.
And he transmorphs, and he's in a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of times where it's like, wait, Samuel Jackson was in that.
He does a ton of voice acting too on the animated side of things. Yeah. And like the animated feature film stuff.
Lawrence Fishburne, who I have to say was born right here in Augusta, Georgia, but he doesn't play.
There you go. Oh snap! It's kind of ugly. Yeah, kind of probably not want to do that, but any which way. So yeah, let's talk episode breakdown real quick. It gets off to a pretty rocking start. Fury raids the base, the Russian base, and kind of the tried and true car slowly moving at the gates. The guards fire a couple of warning shots and then hot it up. And then they're looking around all confused, like, oh no, there's nobody driving the car. What on earth? Pop, pop. Yeah. And it's Fury. He just single taps one and both of them, and then kill shots them on the ground on the way in. So we're off to a good start.
Yep.
I was digging that.
Then he gets into the base, and then you see the aftermath of Gravik's temper tantrum.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now the dead guy outside, and then a whole bunch of the dead ones on the inside.
Now I saw that. And I thought we were going full maniac mode. I thought Gravik had just smoked all his people at that point. I was like, oh, okay, so he's gone like ultimate genocidal maniac. Like that would have been a pretty solid villain turn. Like, oh my god, like you've lost so sight of the mission that you were on that now it's the grab for power and revenge thing, and now your cause is exposed for what it is. But they never really wrap up. He just says they're safely stowed away or some bullshit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But we don't ever see that community come out of hiding
No.
at the wrap of the episode, just the people that were in stasis.
Yep. You see the people that the world leaders and everyone that what the Skrulls were taking their identity
Rhodey,
to do.
Martin Freeman.
Yep. And I believe the Chancellor.
Oh yeah, it was all the big wigs from like episode 1, pretty much.
So none of them were in the big reveal at the end of the huge storage area.
Right. Oh, so maybe that's so. Who was that then? Were those just bodies laying in wait that they were going to use? What did I miss?
Well, remember they said that there's 1 million Skrulls on Earth.
All right, and there obviously weren't a million people living above ground in the compound, so we were led to believe that was probably one chamber of many that just had a bunch of them in stasis waiting for an ability to come out. Okay, I guess in my head when they said 1 million, they just meant 1 million maybe a good portion of 1 million just people living worldwide normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and these were just other people that are like sleeper agents that are out there,
right?
That
waiting to be activated. Yeah, true. All right, so. We get through that. Remind me what happens next if you remember off the top of your head. I watched this a few hours ago and I'm still a little foggy.
So yeah, you had him go in, and then he gets, and that's when he starts doing the coughing and he starts popping the pills, and then as he gets down, the coughing gets worse, and then that's when Gravik. He finds Gravik at the Suprt Skrull machine, and then it cuts to the hospital, and then
that's what I thought.
It keeps going back and forth from the hospital to the nuclear site.
I thought the hospital was next. So get me up to speed on the hospital. We got Ritzen's in bed. We got Rhodey's there talking to somebody on the on a high level. He calls her an admiral.
She's probably the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
That's what I was thinking.
Because
he kind of takes her down a peg, which was kind of sick that I thought they let, and this is just my own bias, that they let a male character talk down to a powerful, hypothetically powerful female character. I didn't think they'd have the stones to do that. I'm glad they did.
Based on his position, he could, because I believe he's the national security advisor.
Yeah.
So that's
true.
So his job is to he's the one who puts the whole national team together as the point who briefs the president.
Right. I'm saying no, he could in the context of that job and in real life, but I'm saying in the messaging that often appears in these shows, we can never put certain characters of certain demographics in those kind of talk down to positions. So I'm giving them credit for at least doing that, despite the fact that if there were 1 million people watching the show, I guarantee somebody would be bitching about a male character in a power position bitching down to a female subordinate, even though she's the highest rank she could be.
She's the highest ranking military officer in the military.
She's right, not just her branch, right?
Yeah, not just her branch, all of them. The military. She is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Chairperson. 2023 chairperson.
There will always be a chairman.
Of course it is, dude. Of course it is. It's ridiculous. And a mailman and a fireman. It's just whatever. Anyway, so Rhodey Skrull is starting to push big for we've got to do the Russian nuke thing now.
Yeah, like, we got to strike. We got to be strong. I can't help you unless you listen to me speech.
Yeah. Which is as categorically predictable because it had to be that he's the villain, the second in command, trying to make this move work. Of course, that had to happen. I think the president understandably looks like an idiot in this situation because, like, why would he not at least consider a tactical option? Because that's what he has to do if there's a clear and present danger, yada, yada, yada. So I'm on board for all of that so far.
Well, I mean, we are a first strike nation. We strike, but for us to strike, there has to be a clear and present danger of a nuclear strike. Just because they try to assassinate the president doesn't mean we're going to go shoot a nuke at them.
Yeah. as fun as Marvel might think that would be, because I guess the show just loves firing tactical nuclear weapons as if
that wasn't even a tactical. That was an ICBM.
ICBM. That's right. They opened the silo, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Whatever. They just like their nukes, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. It's just kind of how they roll.
I mean, if you actually understand our nuclear arsenal, an ICBM doesn't carry one warhead. It carries 10 to 15 warheads.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
It goes into space, and then it breaks apart, and then they all come down to their targets.
Yeah, and flatten the fuck out of it. But anyway, that's the extent of our nuclear weapon knowledge on Winter Wolfson. We can't be held
Oh,
accountable.
there's a
for
lot of
anything using this
nuclear
information.
knowledge that I'm going to get more into this because there was parts I'm like, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't
Disclaimer
happen.
for Winter Wolfson: Kings E may go rogue. Anyway, no, dude, when we get to it, dude, just go for it, man. What happens next? Do we get after we get the hospital? We get back to Gravik. I think this part's where he gets into the big emotional.
Yeah.
That this is your fault. I killed my friend. No, see, this part I thought was good. Like he's the first. This is the face of the first guy I killed, and I did it because you told me I had to, because it would make things better for my people. But he had a wife and children and this and that.
And then every person I killed tore at my soul. I lost a part of my heart, which is he was a kid when he started out too.
It wasn't bad. I won't even call it my usual heavy-handed and on the nose. I think for me, I'm kind of just done with this type of sympathetic villain. Like it's all Marvel needs to know. All Marvel thinks that they need to do, because it puts them in closest proximity to what they think a real world audience can identify with, and thus they'll pull the feels out of them. I don't necessarily need that from my villain. Like the Joker, in Batman '89, I didn't feel for him because he fell into a vat of toxic acid. Fast forward to Endgame or Infinity War or all of the Thanos stuff. Like they didn't give us the reasoning behind Thanos's like the big in-depth thing from the books where he watched his homeworld squander resources and they called me mad. We didn't identify with him at any point for that. And he was just like, no, you wiped out half the fucking multiverse. You got to go down. I think we need to just switch back to that for a little while. More very black and white, good and bad. I think the anti-hero ambiguously gray area thing, like I've just had enough of that. I really just want clear cut for a while. That's just me.
Well, and that's the thing with what makes the Joker such great, because he is evil for the sake of being evil. He's there to watch the world burn. I mean, that the Heath Ledger portrayal of Joker is exactly that. He's not there to make money because he burned a pile of it. He's not
awesome scene.
He's not there to make a political statement. He's just there to watch the world burn. He's there to see who he can push over the edge to go with the whole Joker theory. One bad day and you could become the Joker.
Yep. But even that level of complexity. Yeah, see, and that's what I mean. Like that's a level of complexity in a simple character. You know what I mean? Like who would call the Joker one-dimensional? Nobody. But I would kind of call, in a way, I would call Gravik one-dimensional. Like he's just a dude on a revenge quest because reason. Like that's it. Now they gave a little bit of extra layering it with that speech at the end of this episode. It was pretty good. But I think that does he not become a more impactful antagonist if a little bit more of that appears at the beginning of the show's run and not in the final showdown? A couple flashbacks of him being on a job with a younger Fury and him coming up and him learning some shit. Maybe if we saw that instead of being told that, I might lean on it a little different.
Maybe they played into like him continuing to wait, like I got to be a good soldier so we could get this homeworld, and then that just keeps weighing on until he realizes that homeworld's never going to come.
Now, see, and I'm glad you mentioned the homeworld bit because you and I have been kind of on this point since somebody pointed it out weeks ago. Now, Fury specifically says in this episode, we knew like 3 years into looking that there was nowhere you could go. And dude, I think I'm going to plant the Winter Wolf's Den flag in that line as being the dumbest fucking line of this series. You think you explored all of space in 3 years with one faster than light drive ship?
Especially
and Carol Danvers?
Especially when you have the Guardians of the Galaxy living in a creature's head.
Saying one Class M planet, you couldn't find one more. And then they let themselves off the hook by saying magically in the show's wrap-up minutes, well, it turns out the Kree are willing to negotiate. Why? The fuck would the Kree want to negotiate with these guys? They were trying to smoke them. That was the point. So I thought that was a little too, what do they call it? Deus Ex? A little too, well, maybe there's a solution after all. And I thought that just let him, if they wanted me to paint Fury as kind of like the this is your fault guy, why the hell did they let him off the hook? I just thought that kind of, it pulled the carpet out. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of took the wind out of the sails a little bit in the moment. Like, no, dude, if the whole point of the thing is that I failed and it's my bad and I'm willing to sacrifice myself to make this not a thing, but now I'm going back to space and everything's okay. Because you can just go back to Kree. What? It's kind of, what it is? It's reminiscent. I don't remember if you ever We having tech again?
No, yeah, there was an
Okay,
echo. I think you got too close to your mic.
my bad. Um, you said I don't remember if you said you finished WandaVision.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you saw Doctor Strange too. You saw Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like letting Nick Fury off the hook here, story wise, is exactly like. Well, it's not exactly. It's akin to everybody at the end of WandaVision just being like, okay, you took a town slave for 6 weeks or whatever because your imaginary figment of your imagination, children with vision, were taken from you or something, or you know what I mean, or you made that happen.
Yeah, just
And so they let her off. Look, nobody took her in. The Avengers didn't come back to put away the witch, which they should have. If Doctor Doom does that, he's going down. Like, I think we've covered that. Like, I think that's what that's what the Avengers do. And so this is like Nick Fury's like, okay, you get to fuck back off to your ship now, I guess. Oh, okay. What? I was expecting a rebuttal on that one. I thought this was your cue. That's usually where you get it.
I didn't see the point. And I was thinking this earlier, like questions I was thinking of, like when you're writing a screenplay, the whole purpose of your arc, of the story arc, is that the hero, the protagonist, is not the same as he was from the beginning as he is at the end. Nick Fury is still the same.
Yep.
He made no change. I mean, you saw like how he really felt about things, but he didn't make a change. Everything would have probably played out the same way if Nick Fury was there or not.
Yeah, hypothetically. Well, I mean, I guess Fury had to be. Because Maria could have been the one. That was the British chick's name, right? Was her name also Maria?
I thought it was Sonia.
So I'm sorry, it was Maria. It was Maria Hill. That's right. That's I get the brunette names and stuff. Whichever it was. Yeah, she could. I guess she could have just as easily like shot Rhodey, taken it on a leap of faith, and shot not Rhodey, and then show the president, yo, green guy.
I mean, she shot her director for the
same
reason.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, she could have just as easily gone to with MI5 into the president's secure hospital. That her and Fury apparently dealt all the guards on their own. I don't know. So anyway, I guess the Skull don't train Secret Service like we do.
So did you catch the Trump slam in it?
I did not.
He's talking to the president after his speech. He goes, "You sound like a one-term president."
Yeah. I heard that, and I didn't put that right. Dude, I'm pretty sensitive to that kind of stuff. I mean, we both lean right politically on a lot of stuff. Dude, I didn't pick that up. We've had other one-term presidents before. I just thought that was more of in the context of this the type of shit that people are definitely not going to look at the right way.
Yeah. We're about to have another one, just to let you know.
Yeah.
We're going to have
another
one president.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but he did just cure cancer. That might get him a couple of votes. I don't know if you saw that.
He cured cancer.
Yeah, all right. I'll have to send you the reel for that. Oh, yeah, no, he's publicly stated in some stupid ass statement to some group. Oh, we decide we're going to cure cancer because fuck it, we can. Some bullshit. That's another stream. That's our politics channel, which we should absolutely make someday. But anyway, yeah, dude, exactly. Gas is $4 a fucking gallon, and Biden cured cancer. I guess that's what we do now. Anyway, if I can get King Z back on camera before he falls out his chair. But yes, the hospital takedown was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I liked
it was smooth.
Fury,
it was
it was pretty smooth.
Yeah,
I did like it.
I liked that how he did it, because even though he was taking him out, he didn't do it to a point where he was killing people either.
Yep, and I like that the bodies being just dragged into the room, but you don't see who's doing the drag.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of cool. I liked MI5 lady just straight up punking the guy like, oh what, you guys don't check behind doors? Like that was a pretty good dig. I was like, see,
you
I
must
like
be
her.
A Skrull.
Dude, that's what I mean. Like I like that kind of stuff, and I'll give them credit for this week. If you guys saw our breakdown last week, there were like 4 or 5 really over the top, anti-male kind of patriarchy digs from this character. None were here this week, and she's just so much cooler and funnier when she's non-specifically roasting people.
I think she was the best new character that was introduced. Overall, through the whole series, she was the best new character introduced in this series.
Better than Gravik, though?
Gravik was, well, he's dead. Travis
yeah,
dead.
but I mean, but best new character introduced. Okay, so you have to be alive to be part of the vote.
Yeah, to move forward.
All right,
Because
so
he's not going to
it's
be in anything
bracketology
else.
now.
He's not going to be moving forward. Like,
Of course he can, dude. Captain Marvel was the 17th movie they made, and they said it 30 years before everything happened. We could get Young Gravik's movie. He could get a spinoff. Dude, if Echo can get a spinoff, we can't get a Young Gravik show. We can't get Young Gravik, young Amelia Clark doing some shit. Never say never, King Z. That's the lesson for these jackasses, because they never do. But anyway, but I agree. She was pretty funny. If she's up there with Gravik anyway, I think Gravik's my best intro. Amelia Clark, she's Amelia Clark. I mean, if they had cast one of your cousins, you know, like blonde hair, blue eyes, short stature, or something like that, it would have been just as good. Like, did she have any real breakout scenes in this show? Like, the funeral was nothing approaching anything she did on Game of Thrones in terms of like raw emoting of any like personal loss or tragedy. Like, she could have been anybody. She could have been anybody they could have gotten in the role. They could have saved themselves some money.
well, she's they've been trying to get her in the MCU, and she's been kind of digging at it too. Like, she wanted to get part of it before she got trapped in a crappy DCU movie. So.
Who's she in DCU?
She's not. I'm just saying before they
before it happens.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Was she in Aquaman 1? And I don't even remember her being in that. Okay, anyway. I don't know. So yeah, let's back onto the show, and it's as it's going. So basically, the bulk of the show really is these two scenes. It's the hospital takedown to rescue the president from not Rhodey, and not Fury getting into the fisticuffs with Gravik. The hospital takedown goes smooth, and it ends in the standoff we knew was coming. Nick Fury rolls in after MI5 lady grabs not Rhodey, gun at the base of the skull, very slickly. And I'm glad they did this, because one of the things we bitch about is that they don't do setup and payoff, and they don't set up certain aspects of like setting and location and how things work. While they're moving the president, he requests that one of the Secret Service officers gives him his sidearm because he wants to protect himself.
Yeah.
That whole final scene doesn't work unless they still make it because they write stupid shit all the time. But at least it made sense. And I actually, when it happened, I'm like, well, fucking finally. They did it. They understood some screenwriting basics. That's why the president had a gun. They weren't like, haha, I had it under my pillow the whole time. Like the gangster lawyer from Carlito's Way. You know what I mean? Like, no, dude. Like, actually, no, we knew he had the gun because Carlito took it. Bad example. But like, so at least it wasn't a surprise. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Jackson rolls in as Fury.
Yep.
And he's like, and he's got the gun non-aimed. He's holding it up, completely not fireable in the grip that he has it in. What do you got something to do? Go.
Yeah, I'd say the part that I liked about this is that they had the Nick Fury speech going on that was happening in the Super Skrull thing over the scene of what's going on in the
that was pretty cool.
The hospital. So this way you don't believe that it's actually Nick Fury at the hospital either. You still believe that something else is going on. Maybe he called in one of his friends. Maybe it's going to be
Real
the Winter Soldier.
Yep. And you know what? That's sidebar. They could have done something like that, because if you remember, I think it was Shazam. The post-credit scene in that was Superman going to visit the kid at the high school, and a body sits down, but from here up, you don't see who it is.
Yeah.
So they could have had some Sebastian Stan looking son of a bitch from behind, with the silver, with the right uniform, just like gunning dudes going down the hallway. And that's all you would have needed to have seen. I'd have been like, oh, snap, they did that. But it's okay how they did it. It worked for me. So we get them in that position there. The only thing I didn't like about that scene at that moment, right? And maybe I just need to watch it again to kind of get it. Why did not Rhodey feel compelled to just wait it out? Like, he must have really thought the president was going to call it off, because he made the move for MI5 lady's gun before the president had a phone, because he had to ask for the phone after not Rhodey was dead so he could call it off. So he could have just waited.
Yeah, I think he just lost his cool. I mean, that's the best way to put it. That he lost his cool.
Yeah, no,
he wasn't ready
I guess
for it.
And it works. Yeah, no, and I guess that works.
It happens when you're in that type of situation. You could lose your cool, and he's like, I need to end this now. Because Nick Fury does have a known of talking his way out of things. He talked the Avengers into becoming the Avengers. I mean, he's very
Beautiful.
persuasive type person.
Yep.
So I think Scrody was thinking
Scrody. Dude, can I get a hashtag on the screen for Scrody? It sounds like Scroty, which is even funnier now that I think of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Scrody was there, and he was thinking, I just need to end this now before he keeps running his mouth, and the president actually goes against what
Calls
I'm
it
thinking.
off. Right.
Now, the part that got me was, first off, they're talking about this, and you see the whole military thing where people drive up, and then they hand off the folder with a big classified. And I'm like, that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't say classified.
They drove it by Humvee from a hangar for some reason. I don't know why. It's what they had with the budget.
I'm not trying to tell
They drove it out of a Costco's.
How they do it, but it wouldn't say classified. So you could see it from a satellite camera. I mean, how else are we supposed to know that it's classified? But
I mean, dude, I use pretty big font on our thumbnails. I usually use something like 96. That had to be like 400. Like it was legit like 6 inches thick. Right, dude.
I mean, come on. And then the second one was after everything goes down, and Nick Fury shows the quickness one more time. He may not be as good as he once was, but he's good once as he ever was.
Dude, it was a great shot.
Yeah,
it was a great shot.
Quick move, takes down Scrody.
Let's talk about the actual shot. This is what I was talking about earlier. When he enters the hallway after MI5 lady has not Rhodey at gunpoint already, he's not in like a ready stance with his gun. He's got it like spun up through the trigger guard in his hand. I think the barrel was pointing down. Yeah, the hammer was pointing at the ceiling.
And that was
like,
a dart gun.
Was that a trank gun?
He shot him with the president's gun.
But I didn't reckon. Oh, that's right.
He shot him.
No, wait, what?
Yeah. He sat there. He went for the MI6 gun. This arm went, and the Fury went down, grabbed the president's gun, came up, and blew his head off before he did his shot.
Then that's even quicker.
Yeah.
I thought he had done some Denzel in the Equalizer shit where he just like reversed his own grip on the trank gun. No. I didn't realize they were. I know actually that makes sense because he wasn't shooting those.
He was shooting darts.
See, but that's a little weird too then, because he had already had reason to believe that literally every other person in the staff was a Skrull. Remember when they raided the Admiral's home, they were just popping Skrull guards left, right, and sideways when he went in with Talos.
Well, they knew, they had intel that he was a Skrull and that he was protected by Skrulls. They knew he was embedded.
Oh yeah.
He only knows that Rhodey was Skrull. He didn't know anybody else, and he wasn't that clever or damaged.
These guys are staffers. Right. Dude, good call. Good call. But dude, I'm gonna go back and watch that scene then, because that's even slicker of a move if he can actually get down to like waist level on a bed, take somebody else's gun and deliver like a face shot, because he plugged him.
Yeah. And then it goes to my second big failure, is that he asked for a cell phone to call off a nuclear strike. Unsecure line to call off a nuclear strike.
And I think it belonged to MI5. I think that was British lady's cell. Like, I don't think it was just a phone he had by his bed. I think she handed it.
Yeah, it was her phone. So he's calling from a foreign national's phone.
Intelligence agency. Yeah.
And where's the football in all of this? Where's the major? Right. I don't care if he's in the hospital, like in surgery. The football is there unless the 25th Amendment has been signed and someone else is in the role of president, because you don't act president. I always hated that. He's the acting president. No, he's not the acting president. He's in the role. That's what the 25th Amendment does in the line of secession. He is currently president. If the president is under general anesthesia for longer than 10 minutes, the vice president becomes president. They sign a form that puts him as president.
Transfer of power.
That time. So he's not the acting president. He is the president.
Yep.
And the football be with him, and new codes will be issued at that time. And then when the president comes out of general anesthesia, the second form is signed, putting the elected president, back into power. And then the codes are changed again.
Dude, listen, they had a 29-minute runtime. You think they had a chance to get in it? This ain't a Tom Clancy book. I have the Hunter Red October over here. It's 900 pages of everything you just said. Right? They don't have time for this nonsense on that show. As much as I might have enjoyed knowing all that.
All they needed was an Edster who's holding a larger than normal briefcase run up to him, and he's like, "Get over here," and he just puts it on his lap.
Dude, it
That's
should have been
all.
the guy in the sling. It should have just been the guy. It should have been the Secret Service guy in the sling.
It wouldn't be a Secret Service guy.
That's the
It would
solution.
be a Army major.
All
An
right.
Army or an Air Force major. So all you need is another guy
You
in
just need
uniform.
one more dude. Not even a speaking role.
Yep. All he has to do is come over and
Just
put
have
a
the
briefcase on
the
his
right
lap.
amount of decoratage or whatever it's called on the uni. Dude, good call. Yeah, dude. And see, that's why we have King Z on the show. Whenever things have to take a slight military bend to some things, this is what drives him crazy.
Oh, you want to hear the
you're
funniest
right.
part of this whole thing too?
There's
I sat
another
there,
one.
I
got
sat
King
there,
3 point number 3.
I sat there and I was like, it wouldn't happen like that. And I'm there watching, my wife's watching with me, and she's like, there's body snatching aliens, and him making a call on a non-secure line is the part that you find.
Yeah, sure. That might have been a thing. That's a possibility. Dude, let's talk about body snatching aliens though, because this show goes dark for that last presidential speech. Big dark, right?
Yep.
And I was actually a little disappointed with that because, again, my frame of reference from the kind of comics and the kind of stuff in Marvel I want to see going forward is a little bit more aspirational, inspirational, not all puppy dogs and rainbows, but we've been through some dark shit already. I wanted him to end on not the get everybody off my planet or we're declaring you all war criminals and we're killing you on sight. Whatever, they can write what they want, dude. I don't want that story again. I'm done. I'm good with that.
Then you don't want anything with the X-Men. You don't want the X-Men in the MCU then, because that is the X-Men. That is Senator Robert Kelly from the X-Men, and that is his mentality.
But we're talking about like 30 people that the government's wrong about with smaller stories they can tell and not like global genocide of like 1 million people and a shoot on sight thing. And the counterbalance there is Charles Xavier doing his X stuff and doing a public good transparently. That way people can see hearts and minds kind of stuff. The ending to this show gave you no latitude for any of that other than Nick Fury being like, I didn't like your speech. You sound like a dick.
Well,
and I'm leaving.
Yeah, and I'm leaving.
And I'm leaving.
And I'm
and
out.
not to mention, what, nobody debriefed this asshole and said, hey, if a Skrull didn't fly into Russia and kick the crap out of this fucking guy, none of us would be here. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, this is to me where I think their messaging and what they want to present as certain people wanting to have that certain xenophobic, bigoted, racist outlook, because it was only that one kind of person, especially in those cutscenes that followed up on the violence that came. The people doing all the shooting of the innocents were only one shade of color, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They look kind of like us and not kind of like anybody else. And I think that's some bullshit, because we've said in a lot of our shows on our channel, when we look across, violence worldwide, it's kind of an everybody kind of thing in any country you go to, in any culture you go to, in any religion you participate in, like globally. It's a human problem. So, I mean, maybe I didn't need that guy who, if they ever put his credentialing on the screen, it probably said Ritson with an R in front of it. I mean, it probably did. We should probably go back and watch early episodes. I don't remember if it did or it didn't. That was a dark ass speech though. And I'm just like, this guy hasn't had a fucking spine all season long. Like now he's this guy because he got jumped in a motorcade. Okay.
Assassinations can do that to people. Assassination attempts can do that to people.
No doubt.
I mean, look what the country did after the Lincoln assassination.
Yeah.
Look at the day after Reagan got shot. Like, we were ready to bomb Libya.
Kennedys.
Yeah.
We were going internal for the Kennedy stuff. Yeah, the Reagan one. But it seems to me like they want to tell that story, but like the logic chain within their story doesn't hold up. Because Fury could just tell them because he was there and the president was also there and other guys probably survived on the human side on the actual attack on the highway and be like, yo, you don't survive this attack if Talos doesn't come here and pull you out of this fucking truck. Like, I couldn't get that door open. He tore it off. He died publicly as a Skrull on surveillance. Like, they could show him that. That's intangible stuff that they could show him. And then the Amelia Clark stuff. So it's just kind of like, really, we want me to believe that this guy knows he was saved. Not only was he personally saved by a Skrull, that a Skrull alleviated us of nuking Russia and getting into a shooting war and setting everything off. Because Gravik's list of shit this would set off was nasty. That was some good shit.
Yeah.
He was talking wildfires, plagues, hunger, and this and that, and it's all going to come with the click of a button or whatever. I didn't like that ending, and I guess for me, think I mostly don't like it because I don't see what do they use it for? Like they're not getting a second season of this. There will not be a Fury season 2.
No,
There's
and
no numbers to back it. None. Like no viewership.
somehow they can still play the Skrulls into other storylines.
That's true, I guess.
And they need a
Maybe.
reason to remove this president for the next Captain America movie. Because I mean, they've leaked. There's stories out there. We all know that Harrison Ford's taken over for the late William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross.
Thunderbolt Ross. Yep.
We also know that Thunderbolt Ross is president in this. They've said that in articles, so no one's leaking anything. They've put it out there that he is actually president at this time. Harrison Ford's even said it in interviews. Yep. So
maybe he is a one-term president.
That they need a reason why Thunderbolt Ross is president.
Okay. But I mean, does he just come in and run this guy's agenda? Because that's not typically how our American politics work, you know?
Well, if they're true to Thunderbolt Ross only helped the Avengers in that very first, and after that, he was very anti-powers, anti-heroes. He was out to destroy them. Even though when he becomes the Red Hulk, he's actually bad, and he doesn't join the Avengers until way later after Hulk disappears and after the events of World War Hulk. So,
which we're never getting on in live action. Not a chance.
There's no way to set it up. I mean, you'd have to set up Planet Hulk, then you'd have to set up the Illuminati, and then you'd have to set up the Illuminati blowing up his son.
We already got a shitty Illuminati set up in Doctor Strange too. It was multiverse Illuminati, but you know, we've been introed to at least one iteration of them. But yeah.
But on his speech, I mean, if you really go back and look at a lot of Stan Lee's comic books and like stuff that he topic, Marvel was never bright and shiny. It was always dark. It just had a bright and shiny feel to it because it was in our world, unlike DC, where it was like Metropolis and Gotham and Star City, or I think that was the name of it. Yeah, Star City.
Star City, Central City. Yeah, there's a few.
Those cities.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was the first one that was set in New York. Yep. And I mean, there was there's a little sticker on old comic books where it's talking about this has been approved by the comic convention. Stan Lee lost that for 2 years for fighting drug addiction, alcohol addiction, womanizing.
Fair points.
And he also he designed the X-Men to be a counter representation of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And he was tackling heavy issues in his comic books, even though it was people who, like a lot of his characters were people who look like us because you write what you know. And it was just that time. He went more diversified and he got more people of, I won't say people of color because I think it's dumb because we're all humans. Just because our skin color is different doesn't mean we're different. We're just from different ethnicities. We're from different parts of the world where the sun reacts to our skin different.
But based on science.
It just there's only the human race. We're all the same.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about the subject matter that they have. I got you. And that's all on the record. Those are definitely the stories they tell. I guess what I'm trying to say, and this is a combined gripe that the both of us have with most of current day stuff. I think that the quality of the story execution now and what the product is that they put out is so lackluster, so on the nose, and so not nuanced or subtle in any way that it runs itself into some kind of weird. We've sprinkled too much seasoning into the mix, and now I just can't stand the bitterness of it. Like if you want to do the racism tale a la the X-Men, you can do that. But there's always it just seems like all the X-Men stuff I remember as a kid. Even if an issue wasn't black and white, because no real issue, I guess, is black and white, a lot of the times folks were allowed to express the difference of viewpoints of ideas to different sides of things, voiced in dialogue through competing characters that let you know their stances on an issue as they had to work it all out. Now everything just seems to lean one way. And you don't get those. Star Trek works the same way. Like you get the problem at the beginning of the episode, and everybody has a thing on the why we have to come, why we should do this. And we don't do that now. Now we just rush to the part where it's somebody else's fault. It can't be my fault. There has to be something that applies to right now in the most concrete way, or no one's going to understand it. And I just think I think as an audience, we're better than that. I think we can, if we can handle it if we can handle OG Trek in 1960, whatever, at the height of civil rights, we can handle whatever kind of subtlety they had now, because the world is indeed a better place 60 fucking years later. It just is. It's undeniably better than it was. I think we deserve better storytelling on that level.
Yeah, and that's true. And I think that they played the person right. Like they needed that they needed the government to turn against people with powers to set up other stories. And this is that first setup of them turning against people with powers, because now you know there's Super Skrulls. We don't know how
many
they
admitted it. He's on the record, right? Yeah.
And also we've seen people of power abuse their power. Wanda.
Yep.
And a few other ones. They're like,
and he would have to know about that. He would absolutely have to know about that.
Yeah, the FBI was involved. Homeland was involved.
Yep.
And then what was the other one? Sword. Yeah, Sword was the other one that was.
Sword
involved.
was there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Good point. That's a good point. So I mean, you think that this is possibly some kind of segue into, what would it be, phase 6? They're just going to start losing. We're in 5 now, right? Yeah, this is 5. So you think maybe this is how finally, when they execute, on the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, whatever their next big, probably X-Men, like you said, because they're going to do the whole other.
And
other than us thing.
Take a page out of here, but I think they might take this time with the writer's strike and everything to reset. Because remember, the big bad right now is Bob Iger. He's the big bad right now in this whole writer's strike. Because one, he's been very vocal on how the writers and the actors are being unreasonable.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I just think it'd be a wise business decision. Like, I mean, the numbers, I don't have them in front of me for the show. I think it's second worst. I think it's right underneath She-Hulk, and sadly, and I say this every time we talk them, Ms. Marvel's at the bottom, which I think Ms. Marvel is better than both of these shows personally. They should just wipe the slate clean with all the MCU Disney Plus stuff. There's no reason to give any of these shows a season 2. Now they have Loki 2 done. You're getting that. That's in the can. That's unaffected by the strike.
And they needed Loki 2 if they're going to keep going with Kang the Conqueror storyline, because it's what's feeding that story. That. Yeah.
Right.
So it's the part that's actually going to feed that story to figure out who Kang the Conqueror is. I mean, the little bit that we had at the end of season 1 of Loki was very small, and you saw that you had Kang pretty much the peaceful at that point. But he's like, if you kill me, you're going to bring back another Kang. And like, he explained it pretty well. Yeah. And then
he got beat up in Ant-Man 3. So I mean, if you already beat your big bad variant once, I mean, do we need to bring him back for a team up movie?
Well, he actually changes. Like, he gets more powerful, kind of like Ultron does. Every time he gets defeated, Ultron becomes more powerful. At least in the comic book. So.
Yep. I'll have to look more into him. I didn't see Ant-Man 3 yet, and I definitely didn't watch Loki. So maybe I'll watch a clip of Kang's appearances. But I don't know. I think it would just be wise. I think if they told me tomorrow Blade wasn't happening, the movie, or if they had, or if Daredevil wasn't done, if they told me there's no reason not to release Echo, even though it's going to bomb. If they haven't entered production at all on any level for what's the Agatha show? It's a Covenant of Darkness, I think. Agatha was the side character from WandaVision.
Yeah, she was actually the one who was manipulating and driving Wanda crazy.
Right.
It was
Agatha all along.
Yeah, she's the one who made the Scarlet Witch go crazy that led to Multiverse of Madness.
Right. The meme that was Agatha all along made that show. Made her get her own show. A show literally no one asked for. So if these shows are done, fine, release them. You need content for your platform that just lost another 2 gajillion subscribers. But if these are still like in the concept stage up on a whiteboard like the one in front of me, and you haven't spent any money on it yet for real, maybe you just cut ties. Reevaluate what's got to come through, because you guys are hemorrhaging cash, and the views just aren't there. Like the best thing they had this year is Guardians 3.
Yeah, so
Like
far. Or if you want to count no, Spider-Man was actually last year.
that was the
So
year, and that was the year before.
yeah,
That wasn't last December, was it?
no, it was
I don't
before
think that was last.
December.
That's what it was 21.
Yeah, it was 21. I just can't remember when in 21. And then
No,
the
it was December 21 for sure.
okay,
Yep.
and then yeah, the best thing so far this year wasn't even MCU, and that was
Spider Verse or
into the
across the Spider Verse.
across the
Yeah,
Spider Verse, not
yeah,
intro, but
Spider Verse 2. Right,
yeah,
right. So I mean, they should really just take this opportunity to like if Iger's and dude, he's not like he's in on the culture war stuff. He's on their side for like the messaging and changing tomorrow and DEI and all that stuff. So it's even taking a break. Good. I mean, unless he can find somebody that can actually write those kind of stories that have that kind of messaging on a level that makes it stomachable to the rest of us, every next thing they do is going to bomb anyway. But that's all on the side. So that's more of a winner's watch kind of thing, dude. Let's wrap up here, dude. Final thoughts on the show as a whole. Let's do final thoughts on the episode first.
the
Give me out
episode
of 5.
out of a season finale, I thought it wrapped up the loose ends pretty nicely. It had a great fight scene for the finale, and then the end the end was the end, and you saw that he loved her no matter what. I mean,
I like that.
I don't know how it turned into a love story, but it proved that
Eh.
he Nick Fury was exactly who Nick Fury said he was. And I mean, it plays into who Samuel Jackson is as well. Like Samuel Jackson is Nick Fury.
Right, right.
But yeah, I think it was a great final episode. I think they could have done a lot more with the overall story, like having some fake Avengers at some point, something like that. But of
That would have
course,
been cool.
budget.
Yeah,
We
that would
were
have been cool. That's the biggest missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, like if they were actually going to do the full secret invasion. But I mean, like I said at the very beginning of this, it's 98 comic books that they had to condense into 6 episodes. So pretty much they took the name, they took Skrulls, they took Nick Fury as the point of contact, and ran with
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yeah, it would have cost them 30 million to get RDJ in there for that 15-second cameo where he's fake Iron Man. It would have cost them 30 million, easy. You know, so I think you're right. So give me a so as a series finale, you'd say it stuck the landing. Then am I understanding you correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a standalone series, I think it was pretty good. As a part of a series of a greater universe, my rating is what's the point? It didn't do anything to further the story of the MCU that's trying to tell. It didn't set anything up. It didn't end any stories.
But it hinted according to your theory, but you're right. It didn't officially
Yeah.
set anything up. Oh, and I checked. I actually ran the timeline all the way to the end. No post credits.
No post credits. I checked as well.
Yep. Because I remember you said something about, like you said, the Loki thing. There was a post credit thing that had the Kang the Conqueror appearance or whatever that was. So I did remember to look.
That was actually the end of the series. If you go back and watch the final episode and just watch the last, I'd say 15 minutes, and it explains it all.
Oh, I thought you said one of the other series had post credits, because my understanding was none of them did.
I thought
and that's why we were checking this week for sure, because we had that theory that it might set up.
Yeah, I thought it was going to set up a Captain America. I don't even know the name of the new Captain America.
Brave New World.
Oh.
Brave New World. They changed it from New World Order to Brave New World.
Okay.
True. All right. Well, so yeah, what's the point? I think is a solid rating for me. That I'll say it, dude. In a world where most landings are not stuck, it stuck the ending in a show. It was fairly predictable, fairly mid, as the kids are saying these days. It was kind of a C plus B minus affair. There was nothing special here. Nick Fury, I think Sam Jackson's probably starting to age out of this role a little bit. Not a lot of running, obviously, for a guy in his 70s. He's doing the stock walk a lot of places. Dude, don't get me wrong, still looks pretty badass in the trench coat doing that. Like, it's pretty intimidating. You know, they run that right music. He's just capping people on the ground. It works. But I mean, it's in his voice. The voice just sounds tired. It's the same thing Harrison Ford sounded in Indy 5 to me. Like, you can just tell these guys are getting near retirement age, and they should probably just walk their roles back a little bit. So yeah, it stuck the landing in a show I don't care about. As a series, like you said, what was the point? I mean, it exists. I mean, it was mildly entertaining, but I'm definitely not ever going back to rewatch any of this for like further analysis, breakdown. I think maybe they saw some of the writing on the wall while they were making this, not with the strike, but just about just change in certain climate and tastes and preferences. I think that they had the president's speech do the way it did as kind of a soft lead in to maybe doing things with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Doom, Galactus, whatever other properties are coming online. Yeah, but I think there's about to be big changes at Disney anyway in the MCU. So I don't know how a lot of those plans they might have had even as short as 18 months ago. Maybe those things aren't on the board anymore. You know, maybe they are just looking for a fresh start after the disaster that was Phase 4. Maybe building the X-Men as a Phase 1 is the way to go. X-Men and Fantastic Four running across from each other into a team up or something, or what, I mean, however they want to do it. And even if they're not, they do their usual. They just borrow from source. They don't literally adapt the big arcs because they can't do it. They don't have the screen time to do it justice. They just take the ideas. You bring in a Doom, you bring in a Galactus, you bring in the two teams that have different viewpoints. The Fantastic Four are a family. They have a good way of looking at things based on a value system versus the X-Men, who are the others, which represent a different angle and a viewpoint society. So there's some subtlety and nuance that I think credible writers, people with experience, could write. And I wouldn't mind seeing that as a Phase 1. Don't make it Phase 5. Like, the Avengers are retired, and no matter, and you know, we'll bounce after this point here. The Avengers, as we all know them from Phase 1 through 3, they're gone. Yeah, it's over now. You know, the Guardians are gone. You know, Captain America's gone. I mean, good luck, Anthony Mackie, with your movie. I'll probably see it. But you were cooler as the Falcon, and you didn't need the hand-me-down role. You didn't. It should have been you and Bucky as Captain America as a team, and everybody would have loved that. You know, so good luck with that movie. RDJ comes back. It's for a cameo as Iron Man. I've heard some rumblings about that, but it says rumblings. Hemsworth, he's not thrilled after Love and Thunder. He's on the record publicly now as saying, yeah, we might have not done that right. Yeah, you know, this and that and the other thing. Scarlett Johansson, she's soured on them. Jeremy Renner retired for all intents and purposes, tragically. So, I mean, I don't need to see, dude, their version of the Avengers they want us to eat are Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel, yeah, what's her name? Kate Bishop, America Chavez. And dude, that doesn't put asses in seats. It's not the core demographic consumer of your medium, regardless in whatever shift there may have been a little bit, that now girls are more into this. The girls that are more into this now are not offsetting the guys that are no longer into this. And that's their problem. This never needed to be a Disney princess brand to be profitable and accessible to everybody. And that's one of the topics we're going to talk about tomorrow when we talk Barbie on the Winter's Watch show. Because I got a bone to pick with that movie, and I haven't even seen it yet. And it's not what you might think. So, dude, anything else you want to say to these fine folks that came along for the ride? This is a long edition of Secret Invasion, but it was a series finale in our defense.
If you want to see the story done 100 times better with a lot better actors besides Samuel Jackson, go check out the first season of Jack Ryan on the Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. It is the exact same story, but done in a real-world situation.
No shape-shifting aliens.
No shape-shifting aliens. But it is that revenge story that was caused by, I wouldn't say displacement, but I will say war. Which... Yep.
Dude, true that. Maybe, and I believe that's one of the shows that's on the Winterwolf must-watch list that I need to get the required reading list from King Z. Yeah, then he's like, yeah, dude, I've been telling you that for like 2 years, jackass. Yeah. All right. We're going to get out of here. It's getting a little late. King Z is over there handling the production. Winterwolf is back off his couple sick days. We'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern. Don't forget, people, because this is also King Z's last Winterwolf for a couple weeks, about 1 week for sure, maybe a couple, depending on some timing. He's got to go out of town, so I might do some solo stuff next week on that same spot. But we'll be here with Winter's Watch tomorrow with our topics of the week, and we'll get into it then. King Z, get me out of here.